The young maestro commanding Barcelona's midfield today once faced rejection from their fiercest rivals, Real Madrid. For many, that would have been the end of the road, but not for Pedri. That moment only lit a fire in him, a fire to prove them wrong. So how did a boy cast aside become one of the brightest young midfielders on the planet? And what exactly sets him apart? Let's dive in. Long before he was orchestrating play at Camp Nou, Pedri was just another football-obsessed kid from a quiet corner of Tenerife. And when we say obsessed, we mean it. The ball never left his side. It wasn't just him either. Football ran through his blood. His grandfather was so passionate about the game, he even helped launch a local FC Barcelona supporters group in town. Looking back, it feels like destiny. Pedri's journey began at UD Teguesta, where he already looked like he was playing a different game. Gliding past opponents like it was a video game on easy mode, he made it all look effortless. Then came Juventud Laguna, where things got more serious. But Pedri never lost his style. While others tried to impress with flashy tricks or speed, he impressed with intelligence. Even as a kid, he made the right decisions, read the game like a veteran, and always seemed to be in the right place at the right time. It didn't take long for scouts to start circling. Then came the big call from Real Madrid. It sounded like a dream, one of the biggest clubs in the world showing interest. But football can be cruel. And for Pedri, a twist of fate came in the form of snow. Madrid's training sessions were disrupted during his trial. He barely trained with the main squad, got pushed to the B team, and within 3 days, the verdict was in. They didn't want him. Imagine that, traveling all the way from Tenerife, chasing your dream, only to be dismissed before you even had a proper chance. Pedri later admitted it hurt. Of course it did. No one enjoys being told they're not good enough. But instead of folding, he doubled down. That rejection became his fuel, a silent promise to prove Madrid wrong. And oh, did he prove them wrong. Just 2 years later, FC Barcelona came calling. This time, Pedri seized the moment. When asked about who rejected him at Madrid, he simply smiles and says, "I don't remember. I'm happy at Barça. That's what matters." Real Madrid had a gem in their grasp and let him walk. Now he's one of the most important players in their rivals' lineup. That's football. Sometimes it writes its own poetic justice. But before Barcelona, there was one more stop, Las Palmas. After Madrid passed him up, he returned to the Canary Islands and joined Las Palmas' youth academy in 2018. While other kids were navigating high school, Pedri was turning heads in football. At just 16, Las Palmas' manager, Pepe Mel, had seen enough. He pulled Pedri from the youth ranks and gave him a professional contract. 1 minute, he was playing with kids. The next, he was facing grown men in Spain's second division. Pedri made his professional debut on August 18, 2019, against Huesca. They lost 1-0, but Pedri stood out, calm, creative, and impossible to ignore. Then, on September 19, 2019, he made history, scoring the only goal in a 1-0 win over Sporting Gijón. At just 16 years, 9 months, and 23 days, he became the youngest goal scorer in Las Palmas' history. From that moment, he wasn't just a promising team, he was a rising star. Clubs started circling, but one giant couldn't look away, FC Barcelona. Rejected by Madrid, Pedri became Spain's most talked-about team. Barcelona spotted his talent early, signing him in 2019 for just €5 million, a bargain in hindsight. Instead of rushing him, they let him develop another year at Las Palmas, allowing his game to mature. Then came 2020, the year Pedri officially stepped into the spotlight. For most 17-year-olds, arriving at a club like Barcelona would be overwhelming. The pressure, the cameras, the expectations, it's enough to break many. But not Pedri. He walked through the doors at Camp Nou like he'd been there his whole life. Many expected him to start with Barca's B team, slowly working his way up. But Ronald Koeman, Barcelona's manager at the time, had other ideas. He saw something different in this quiet kid from Tenerife. Koeman gave him a first-team chance, and Pedri never looked back. On September 27, 2020, he He made his first team debut in a 4-0 win over Villarreal, coming on for Philippe Coutinho. Within weeks, Pedri was no longer just another squad player. He was starting. By October 20th, he'd already scored his first Champions League goal in a 5-1 win over Ferencváros. Think about that. One season you're in the second division. The next, you're scoring under the lights of Europe's biggest stage. And it didn't stop there. In November, he netted his first La Liga goal against Real Betis. He was consistent, calm, creative, no ego, no nerves, just a pure football brain. In less than a season, Pedri wasn't just a talent for the future, he was already central to Barcelona's present. By 2021, he had fully arrived. At just 18, Pedri played a major role in Barça's Copa del Rey triumph, including a key goal against Athletic Club in January. By May, he had already made 50 appearances in his debut season. Only Bojan Krkić had done that at a younger age. Barcelona didn't hesitate. In October 2021, they handed him a new contract with a €1 billion release clause. A message to the world. Pedri was untouchable. And the recognition followed. That same year, he won the Golden Boy Award, the top young talent in Europe. He was also named the best under-21 player in Spain. At that point, it wasn't just about Barcelona's future. Pedri was being seen as the future of football itself. But greatness rarely comes without setbacks. In April 2022, he suffered a hamstring injury during a Europa League clash against Frankfurt. Barcelona struggled without their midfield general. Still, Pedri refused to let injury define him. He recovered, he returned, he rebuilt. And by January 2023, he had already reached 100 appearances for Barcelona, marking the milestone with a match-winning goal against Girona. That same season, he added another achievement, his first La Liga title under Xavi, and he kept rising. In 2024, Pedri continued to shine when it mattered most. His elegant assist to Rafinha in the Champions League quarterfinal against PSG was a masterclass in vision and timing. Barcelona may have fallen in the return leg, but Pedri's brilliance left no doubt. He wasn't just playing anymore, he was leading. In 2024 to 2025 under Hansi Flick, Pedri prioritized fitness, stayed healthy, and hit top form. He stayed sharp, starred versus Benfica with a slick assist and stepped up big when it mattered most. In the Spanish Super Cup, he starred in a fierce El Clásico, scoring a stunning goal in a 3-2 win over Real Madrid to lift the trophy. Later that season, he stepped up again, helping Barça beat Madrid once more in the Copa del Rey final. 2 trophies. Dos Clásicos. One message. Pedri wasn't just part of these games, he was deciding them. And on January 30th, 2025, Barcelona rewarded him with a new contract, tying him to the club until 2030. Real Madrid once said no. Now, he's the heartbeat of their greatest rival. But Pedri's story isn't just about club football. He's left his mark on the international stage too. In 2021, at barely 18 years old, he got the call up to represent Spain at the European Championship. For most teenagers, a debut means watching from the bench, maybe getting a few minutes. But not Pedri. Luis Enrique didn't ease Pedri into the national team. He launched him straight into the heart of it. No trial runs, no hand-holding. Just faith. Pedri was thrown into Spain's starting 11 for Euro 2020, and instead of buckling under pressure, he took control like a seasoned pro. He played with calmness, with clarity, as if he'd been orchestrating Spain's midfield for 10 years. Let that sink in. A teenager, running the show in a team full of seasoned professionals. In the semi-final against Italy, he became the youngest player ever to start a Euro semi. And get this, he completed 65 of his 66 passes that night. 65 out of 66, against Italy, the eventual champions. Pedri's Euro 2020 was unreal, named Young Player of the Tournament after a masterclass in midfield. No rest after that. He flew to Tokyo, played every Olympic match, reached the final versus Brazil, and capped the season with 73 games. More than most in 2 years. Still, he never slowed down. Fast forward to the 2022 World Cup in Qatar. Pedri was no longer the wonder kid. He was Spain's heartbeat. The trust from Luis Enrique never wavered. Spain kicked off with a dominant 7-0 win over Costa Rica, and Pedri, as usual, dictated the rhythm like a maestro. But football can be cruel. Spain were knocked out by Morocco in the round of 16, on penalties. Heartbreaking. But even in defeat, Pedri's place was never in doubt. He wasn't part of Spain's future anymore. He was the present. Then came Euro 2024. Spain had a new generation, the electric Lamine Yamal, the fiery Nico Williams. But Pedri, now 22, was the undisputed leader. Alongside Rodri, he formed a midfield duo with everything: intelligence, balance, chemistry. Spain glided through the group stage, and Pedri, once again, was pulling the strings, composed, elegant, in full control. It felt like destiny. Until Germany. Just 8 minutes into the quarter-final, Toni Kroos went in hard. Pedri clutched his leg and had to come off. Just like that. His tournament was over. Spain went on to beat Germany in extra time, then reached the final and won it. Glory for La Roja, for the team, a dream. For Pedri, bittersweet. Yes, he lifted the trophy. Yes, he celebrated with his teammates. But deep down, you could see it in his eyes. This was supposed to be his tournament. The one where he stamped his mark on Europe. Not just as a playmaker, but as a leader. He missed that chance. And it hurt. Still, history was made. Pedri, the boy Real Madrid let slip through their fingers, now stood in the heart of Madrid, wearing red, holding the European Championship trophy. The same Pedri they once overlooked had become the symbol of Spain's golden generation, not in white, but in red and blue. So now the question writes itself. Did Real Madrid regret letting him go? Let me know what you think, down in the comments.